Hi everyone, it's Nathan Campbell with Farm Fresh Marketers, and today I'm out in front of our barn, which was one of the original buildings that was on this property when my great-grandpa and grandpa bought this in 1949. And I wanted to talk to you about what's going on right now and all of the demand that so many farmers and ranchers are getting and will continue to get as things progress with the coronavirus. You know, everything may have passed by the time you're watching this video, but I wanted to make sure that I got this information out there to make sure that you guys are going into this at least considering all of the options and thinking things through. So my great-grandfather basically came to Oregon in the early 1900s, worked in trade for sheep until he was able to buy his first ranch in 1919, and he ran that very successfully until the Great Depression hit. Once the Great Depression hit, you know, everything, it was 25% unemployment and just everything collapsed, and his ranch was foreclosed on, and the local community stepped up and kept him from going into foreclosure, and he kept the family ranch, was able to then buy this ranch in 1949 and continue on the legacy. So this is a very real situation that many farmers and ranchers could face this year. And as you're going into this, I think that it's important that we look back and think about the lessons that we learned from the greatest generation and those that, you know, went through the Depression and how much they depended on their local communities. They just announced that the farming industry is an essential industry or sector. And basically, I think what that means is all farmers and ranchers now need to step up and support their local communities. You know, the big, like right now, I think a lot of folks can see how much demand is out there, and they've never had so much demand for their farm and ranch products ever, and they want to help everyone, and you can't help everyone. You know, the government's going to step in, like the National Guard and other people will come in and they'll bring food to the cities and the local, like the big areas. But there's a possibility that the local communities can get cut off, rural like us. You know, we're in a county with less than 4,000 people. We got one stoplight and it's 3 hours to Costco. We're a town of over 10,000 people. So out here it's very rural. You know, the grocery stores, they only get shipments once a week or deliveries once a week. And there's a lot of uncertainty right now. Hopefully everything goes smoothly and there's no supply chain interruptions. But I want to caution you, if you are selling farm products, to not sell those farm products to areas outside of the local community that you want to serve and that you live in and that you're willing to drive, you know, to serve. Because yes, there is an extreme amount of demand right now, but like those people are they do need help, and there likely are other farmers that can help them in that area. I started a community called Farm Fresh Community so that we can find all of these different people within communities, farmers and consumers, and just connect them, as well as on the marketplace, Farm Fresh Community Marketplace. And in there, you know, folks can barter or trade or sell products or whatever, or look for help, because I think a lot of farmers are going to need help through this to make sure that they produce, you know, a good source of food for a lot of folks. And you know, I know that our country does keep reserves of meat and items like at food banks and other places around the world, around the country. But mainly, I want you to focus on just serving your local community. Yes, you are going to get calls, you're going to get emails, you're going to get, you know, information from people that want your services or your products that don't live in your area, and I think it's very important that you do take their information and try to help them. But I don't think that you should, you know, take a sale from them and plan to ship items to them in the coming weeks. One, I think they would understand there's a lot of uncertainty with anything that, could get shipped right now. And the last thing that you want to do is send something that it's not the monetary value, but that it's so valuable right now to have food, that you don't want to send that out and have it wasted, sitting in a distribution center somewhere. Also, I don't know this for sure, but I think butchers, it would make sense, but I think butcher shops should also be essential. And I know that they're going to get a lot of calls. I encourage you to talk to your local butcher shop, not only to bring your products there, but to ask if there are ways that you can help them. You may not be able to go in and actually do some of the processing, but there could be things that you can do or people in your community can do, to help them. And it doesn't have to be, in trade for money or in exchange for money, like paid like a job. Like I was saying earlier, my great-grandfather, Patrick, he, in the early 1900s, worked for 16 years just trading for sheep. Like, he'd work, he'd get sheep, he'd work and get sheep, work and get sheep. And he amassed basically a fortune. What he had amassed back then in today's dollars was $1.5 million in 16 years just working in trade. So that's another thing as farmers and ranchers. You have a lot of different assets on your farm and ranch. And so kind of evaluate those things, and if there are like things that you need done, that's another way that you can kind of look at it. If it's not a farm product, maybe it's some other thing that you have on your farm or ranch. Wood for them to do something, or it's there's countless things, eggs and meat and vegetables, and you can teach them how to garden. That's another thing that has been lost, is I think a lot of farmers and ranchers, they were taught or influenced by the folks that did survive the Great Depression. And so there's a lot of, not just things that they've kept over years and years, but also knowledge that they have is that, folks in the cities don't have. So I think that's one way, if you do want to start giving back to the folks in the cities, is you can show them, through email marketing or social media, or YouTube, on ways that you can be self-sufficient in a small space. How can you grow a garden on concrete, and how can you raise chickens and other things like that? That's adding so much value and introducing yourself to all these, new people. And we really are the leaders in our community at this time. We are providing a service with, meat or produce or vegetables or whatever it is that our community not only needs, but can't survive without, especially if distribution systems are cut off and areas struggle. A lot of farmers and ranchers also are on a spring like us, so for water, a lot of them, like we have, I don't know how many, mineral tubs that are, probably, I don't know how many gallons those are, 40, 30 gallon mineral tubs, and 50-gallon drums. There's tons of water, that we can get to our local community, and there's just so many different things within that. That's why I started the community page on Facebook, Farm Fresh Community, as well as, starting Farm Fresh Marketers. With that, there's so many things right now that kind of are coming at farmers and ranchers, and I want to make sure that you're using this not as a focus on the next 3 or 6 months, but you're using this to establish something that will kind of make your farm or ranch continue to grow for the next decade. And what I was saying earlier about all the people that are getting in touch with you about, shipping your products, and, helping people, teach them how to, do gardens and chickens and all of the different things, or sewing or whatever it is. All of those people, what I show our folks, our members and Farm Fresh Marketers, is how to connect with those people, and how to engage with them, and then how to bring them into your email list, and have them become a part of your community. And one of the first things that you can do for that is to set up a Facebook page or a Facebook group, and within that you can create your own community. I've just done it actually today for our local community, 45 miles within where I live, and just start, inviting people and giving information and feedback. And, worst case, it's just a great place to get to know your neighbors. Best case, just a great place to get to know your neighbors. But I think that we're going to need the community support. And as a leader of the community, I think it's very important that you take that action and help folks. You may already have some of these communities, Facebook groups within your local community, so just search in Facebook and try and find those as well. I show you within Farm Fresh Marketers, it's actually a free guide that I have. If you go to farmfreshmarketers.com, I have a free guide where it shows you how to not only create those pages, but how to capture email as you set those up, because right now it is uncertain which businesses may or may not close. There's a potential, that Facebook could be down. So if you have an email address or a phone number to where you can still get in touch or have communication with your local community, especially if we're not supposed to be out driving on roads and other things, I think it's very important to take the time when you are setting up those pages to make sure that you have a second way or a third way to get in touch with folks. Yeah, it's a very interesting time right now. We really don't know what's going to happen. I've seen I think all of us have seen what's going on in other countries, and other states as well. Just yesterday, California basically announced that they are on, I guess, lockdown, I think is what it's called. But yeah, just be careful, guys. Take it serious. Do everything you can to support your local community before you start, thinking more broadly. And also, if you do want to think more broadly, work with the food banks and the large organizations that can help lots of people. Feed America is another one. There's just so many organizations that are out there versus just doing the retail route to, serve a few. And also talk to your neighbors, talk to the other farmers and ranchers, who may not, be online at all. I know there's certainly plenty in our area. So call them up and talk to them and, make sure that they're aware that you have this community. You can even, call them up and ask them if they have questions and write those questions out for them if they're not someone who's on, Facebook or email. But there's so many different things. Please take the time to consider what I've said. I hope that this is bringing some value, to you in this trying time. And feel free also to reach out to me and to share this video or subscribe to my channels or anything else. I'm going to keep doing different videos like this to keep folks kind of updated on how I see things moving forward and things that you can do. It's, like I said, it's a difficult time to really predict what will happen, and I just want to make sure that you're prepared and that you're not just chasing, you're not spending all of your time focused on maybe the wrong thing. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you for everything that you do. Again, if you are interested in finding out how to get leads from the folks that are in the city and get their information, I'm happy to help you. The first step would be just go to farmfreshmarketers.com or just reach out to me. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.